And we're back, everyone, here for Game 2 between HypE Esports and Pendulum Gaming. Game 1 saw a really back-and-forth game in the early game between HypE Esports and Pendulum, with Pendulum just pulling ahead in the mid-game here. And in Game 2, we do see HypE Esports going to get the blue side, Pendulum on the red side. I'm Random Minion Caster, and alongside me still for Game 2 is Adorit Luna. So, Luna, what were your thoughts after Game 1 here?
Game 1, at one point it seemed like there was a lot of back and forth, but towards the end of the game it just became a stomp. The amount of pressure that Killer Unicorns had with the Cho'Gath was insurmountable.
For sure, and as per your statement there, HypE Esports gonna ban out the Cho'Gath. They don't want to see Killer Unicorns on that Cho'Gath once again, and then Yasuo still gonna be the ban here. On the side of Pendulum Gaming, they're gonna keep the Xerath, Amumu, and Teemo bans as well, and they're gonna ban out the Nami. Despite getting multiple kills on Fluff Get Smashed, they don't want to see it again. That tidal wave giving them problems in terms of picks here. HypE Esports keeping it together with the AoE compositions, the team fights. They're staying with the Maokai for rings. Gonna first pick that one. Ziggs in the mid lane for Tommy Peppers. Miss Fortune, Sejuani, and Zyra gonna round out their picks here. On the side of Pendulum Gaming, we see the Ezreal once again, the Braum, Mordekaiser this time for Killer Unicorns, Jarvan for in the jungle, and oh my, could it be? That's an Aurelion Soul. I believe that's the first time I've seen it in quite a while. So Luna, what are your thoughts here on these picks?
Yo, we got an A-Soul in this game? I haven't seen one of those in a game of League in like a year, I think, unless it was like an ARAM or Earth. Like, oh, okay, I'm down.
Yes, ever since the changes to his W there, the way his orbs, the stars work, it's no longer a toggle spell. It's a temporary burst of damage. They increased the damage, but they decreased the duration. So, yeah, ever since then, he's kind of been a very rare specimen to see on the Rift.
Yeah, he definitely has, I wouldn't say the highest skill cap, but he definitely has a higher one in order to be able to play him well. Like, knowing when to roam with his E, just being able to use his stars efficiently. He's definitely a rough mage to play.
Yeah, so, I mean, in terms of compositions, though, I think we can see HypE continuing the trend they had from Game 1, which I really liked, actually, their team composition. They're going for AoE once again. I think that's pretty clear. But on the side of Pendulum, I'm a little confused as to what their objectives are going to be this game and how they're looking to play this composition here.
Yeah, I kind of get what you mean, especially with, like, the Mordekaiser definitely throws things off quite a bit. Just because, like, you have Braum and you have J4 and A-Soul, which, I mean, Braum's ult has the knockup. You have the Cataclysm from J4 to get people brute. And Aurelion's ult is, it's burst damage plus a stun, I believe, or at least a knockback. So with the Mordekaiser, like, you might accidentally take a target out of the fight and unintentionally keep someone alive if he's not able to finish them off in the death realm. It's definitely it's kind of weird. But yeah, with HypE's comp is disgustingly good. You have the roots from Maokai. You have Sejuani ult that can set up for bullet time or for Zyra ult. And then Ziggs, I think I like Ziggs the most out of this, not just because of his ult, but because of the sieging potential he has from his satchels. So he can quickly get a turret, and all of a sudden it just throws the dynamic of the game out the window. Because the game speed can be determined by a Ziggs. Just by saying, hey, look, mid's already gone, we're out of laning now. I'm roaming already. What are you going to do?
Yeah, for sure. And we did see in game one that HypE struggled a little bit in trying to take those turrets down, even when they were winning all the fights in the early game. It was Pendulum, Killer Unicorns with that Cho'Gath, who was actually the main turret taker there in the game. And with that, both teams are ready to go here on the Summoner's Rift, so we'll be joining them here. And both teams going to spawn onto the Rift. Now, where do you think we'll be seeing action here in the early game, Luna, between the two teams? Which lane should we be focusing on?
That's... I don't know, man. Like, I want to say mid, potentially, because of the Ziggs. But I feel like the jungle game might be interesting as well. And there might be more stuff happening bot lane with the Ezreal-Braum combo now.
For sure. So I guess everything except pretty much the top lane for the early game. And to be fair, I mean, that is a Maokai. It can be hard to kill. We did see quite a bit of action last game, surprisingly, in the top lane. But as you said, most likely we'll just have to track the junglers and see where they're going to go to start the action here. And just to start the game off, not a proper invade, but Pendulum going in aggressively, taking advantage of the Ezreal Q, the Mystic Shot, to be able to scout out bushes. Do get a very deep ward here into the enemy jungle. Will spot non-stop brain out as he's going to start the bottom side of the map, and Timic opting to start at his red buff as well. Liked how the start worked for him last game, is going to go back towards the top side once again.
That, and it's usually pretty common for Jarvans to start red buff regardless of the side, just because J4 isn't very mana dependent. So the more time he has red buff, the more benefit he gets out of it for his player.
For sure, and we see here Yasuo only in the mid lane, just shoving out his lane to start right away. And it used to be that ASOLs like to shove out their lane and roam early as level 3 here. They can begin to get movement speed buffs. We'll have to track how the new ASOL works here for Yasuo only, and whether he'll be able to get some ganks off, whether he stays in lane, because so far already taking a bit of poke here from Tommy Peppers in the mid lane.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how well Tommy is going to be able to. Oh wait a minute.
Bot lane, we have action. Everyone diving in, and they've already got Kimberly Grace really low. We'll have to use the heal there, and there's no ignite for the side of Pendulum's bot lane, so we'll be able to get out there top lane. A bit of action as well as Killer Unicorn trades back and forth, but Irrelevant hopping forward once again, this time looking to get the stun down on to Fluff, gets smashed instead, and we'll force the flash out there. So two Summers already burned in the bot lane. Honestly, that's not what I was expecting to see, with Braum being the aggressor here.
Right, and like, so the thing is, like, if Braum had taken the ignite, then they might have gotten the kill onto Kimberly Grace, and then they wouldn't have been able to get the flash out of Fluff, because Fluff would have been playing a lot more defensively instead of trying to step up like they did, since Kimberly did choose to stay in lane.
We'll have to see if that translates into anything, if they can get another gank or another fight off, or whether they can catch out either of them once more. And Fluff gets smashed, still playing really aggressively in that minion wave, just not respecting Nerf Irrelevant very much there. So we'll have to be careful. But so far, not seeing a huge impact on the CS from the aggression in the bot lane.
Yeah, which, with that being said, that is very impressive on the side of HypE.
Yeah, HypE did win the early game, last game as well, so it looks like they're doing quite well for themselves thus far. And speaking of junglers, that's probably where the action will have to start from. We see Timic invading a little bit onto non-stop Brain, but he got spotted out. It looks like there were pings coming down on him. He will be forced up, but did manage to get the big Raptor at least, so will slow non-stop Brain down a little bit. And we saw this last game too. Timic, very aggressive jungler here, looking to invade whenever he can. The flag and drag coming out onto Tommy Peppers though. There's no stun to pull up from Yasuo only. They won't be able to take him down, but they do get quite a chunk of damage at least onto Tommy Peppers. He's out of mana and low on health.
Yeah, like at this point, if you're Tommy Peppers, you should definitely consider backing.
But it looks like he's just going to stay in lane. Still does have the range there and damage to be able to farm minions. Instead, Yasuo only going to be the one to initiate the back. So the wave will balance out in that mid lane. Neither mid lane are going to lose much CS on this base.
And it looks like first dragon in this game is going to be Inferno. So I'm curious to see what the soul's going to be. Whether it's going to be Ocean, Mountain, or Cloud. Now, if it's Cloud, that's going to be very scary depending on which team is able to secure Cloud Soul.
Definitely, and this is it. The first Drake is going to be Inferno here, which will be additional damage for whoever can get it. Grace getting hammered again. Kimberly Grace barely surviving, using the flash this time to get out, and that means both summoners going to be down. The defensive summoners, only the Ignite left for Fluff gets smashed, and this is all pre-6 action right now. Snugglebutt just dominating this bot lane with the help of Irrelevant. So really well played, and this might allow the side of PLG to pick up the first Drake here, as we do see Timic hitting towards the Drake. He did get spotted out. There is a ward in the pit, so he's just going to pull it out here, but has to be careful. Does not have backup. I'm not sure he can solo this when he's this low on health. Top lane Rings going aggressively on to kill the Unicorns, but they're both so tanky and they've got such good sustain that nothing's sticking thus far. Stun landing onto Tommy Peppers, but Yasuo only has to back up. He's really overextended at this point. And non-stop raid now in the bot lane, walking side by side with Nerf Irrelevant. Gonna take damage, might get stunned up. He does indeed. The Flag and Drag comes across as well. He'll have to flash to try and find his way to safety, but it's Irrelevant who might die here. He fails the flash, and that's going to give First Blood over the way of Kimberly Grace. Yasuo only roaming down with the ace, so that's what we expected, but a beautiful route from Fluff Gets Smashed will stop the fight for now and cause a disengage, and that's going to be a 1-for-0 First Blood going the way of the ADC of HypE Esports, Kimberly Grace.
Right now, if you're HypE, you got to be feeling pretty good after that play, especially because of how much pressure Nerf has been applying bot side. It just gives them that feeling of like, yeah, that's right. That's what you get.
Yeah, and Kimberly Grace did manage to base to buy before that fight, so did have the boots, did have the long swords as well for the additional damage and mobility, allowing her to get into position to follow up. On the other side, Snugglebutt had not based yet, has gone back now, picked himself up a tier, so that's not going to be much combat stats in lane. We'll have to see if his dominance continues here, now that there has been time for the various laners there in the bot lane to purchase items, and he did not buy combat stats. In the mid lane, Aurelion Soul basing once again, and Yasuo only once again opting to go the Ghost. That one is standard on ASOL here, and as of the last patch, Ghost did have a bit of a buff, so it's an immediate start rather than a slow ramp up, and that might be the reason why we're seeing Yasuo only running the Ghost here, both on the Vel'Koz and the Aurelion Soul. Might be enough to make Aurelion Soul a bit more viable in the current meta as well.
That is very true. Let me just go and pull up the patch notes real quick so I can get the full stats on that change.
For sure, and while you're doing that, the lanes here still fighting in the top lane. Rings actually getting Killer Unicorns a little low, but he's out of mana, so will not be able to continue fighting this. Might go down if he's not careful, and Inferno Drake did not go down despite all that fighting in the bot side, so still a point of contention for both teams here.
Okay, so with the changes to Ghost, it does have a longer cooldown duration. It is a 210 second cooldown now, and the movement speed amount has been reduced. It's only 20 to 40% depending on your level. However, the movement speed is now instant. Also, if you get a takedown while your Ghost is active, depending on your level, you will increase the duration of Ghost by 4 to 7 seconds.
Definitely very useful there, especially in the team fights with the way Aurelion Soul plays. Positioning is paramount, so having those extended team fights with Yorel, so it could mean that he could keep the Ghost up the entire fight here. And one thing to note, he is not running Phase Rush, which is the other common mastery. Instead, he is running the Electrocute there for more damage. Now we see Rings and Kill Unicorns going at it in the top lane there. Rings did just base and get back to lane, so it does have a small advantage. Ball lane, Nerf Relevant has to be careful. He might go down here. The slow is just enough to keep him alive. Fluff gets smashed instead, going to be stunned up, but the plant's forcing the flash out of Snuggle, but he thought he could get it, but in the end has to burn his summoners to survive there. It looks like Zyra sort of hit that point where she can start acting as a AP burst mage and can take down people 1v2 if they're not careful.
Indeed, but she did also have to rely on her Ignite there. So if she didn't have Ignite, Nerf Relevant would have been a lot safer.
For sure, mid lane we see Yasuo only getting a bit aggressive. Does land the stun, but Timic was too far away to help in time. He was waiting in the bush, but Tommy Peppers was under his turret, and Timic didn't want to dive him. Is level 6, does have Cataclysm available, but he's just not confident they have the burst quite yet here. And both junglers this game not really being very active up to this point. It's almost 11 minutes here, and besides that one fight near the dragon, we've not really seen the junglers do much thus far.
Right, and like on top of that, you know, since then, neither jungle has either looked at either Rift Herald or Dragon. So it's, well, wait a minute. And now it looks like they're looking at it now.
A bit of a gank happening in the bot lane as well. Non-stop Brain getting caught out near the dragon, and Inferno putting the damage down, but he will be able to flash his way to safety just barely. And fights bring up top and bottom. Ring's gonna go down here when 1v1 against Killer Unicorns. Flash is used by both top laners. Got dragged into the death realm, and now the Zig Bomb comes out and they steal the Inferno. Drake Timic did not have the smite available. Well played from HypE Esports.
Yo, Tommy Peppers coming in clutch with the bomb there. Wow.
I don't believe they actually had a proper vision in the pit when he did that, so it was blind. A blind steal. Amazing play from the side of Tommy Peppers there. He's winning lane, and now he's helping his team win game here by sniping the Inferno Drake, and every lane is going to be thanking him. That bot lane of Misfortune and Zyra, both of them great damage dealers, going to benefit the most from this Inferno Drake here for themselves.
Oh yeah, for sure. I don't know, I really wish that had been worded by HypE though, just because now it's just like it was just a lucky ult. I mean, it still got the job done, but if there was vision there and he actually got the timing off on it, I feel like that would have been a lot more impressive than what it was.
Well, I mean, they did have some vision from the last fight, so he was probably counting it down and roughly estimating the damage, but not having the smite there for Timic definitely cost him, especially when Non-Stop Brain was still alive, extremely low, but could have gone for a suicide mission. And speaking of Non-Stop Brain, looks like he's now going to that top lane, as we do see the Nature's Advance coming out of Rings here. They've got the CC, they've got the lockdown, and Killer Unicorns does not have the Death Realm this time, so we'll have to face the 2v1. Will go down to Non-Stop Brain there.
Definitely a very solid game.
Doesn't get much cleaner than that at all. Very, very good. No summoners had to be expended up there. Easy pickup, and that will give Rings a bit of breathing room in the top lane. He's been forced to fight Killer Unicorns this entire time, as the two of them constantly fighting while trying to pick up CS, so doing extremely well for themselves. And in the bot lane, we see Yasuo only coming down, but he's walking over a ton of wards. The teleport coming up from Killer Unicorns, but he'll get rooted up immediately. Dragging Kimberly Grace into the Death Realm right away means that she will not get hit by the True Shot. Fluff gonna get hit by a True Shot instead, but Killer Unicorns can just 1v1 her. Will successfully take her down, and that's all 5 members of Pendulum showing up in that bot lane looking for that first turret, and that will give Non-Stop Brain a chance to pick up Herald on the other side of the map here.
Yeah, good call by Non-Stop Brain to go ahead and secure the Rift Herald while he can. Especially because it looks like PLG might try to go for 2 turrets here, potentially.
Yeah, they're
So,
not going to stop after taking that one outer turret. All 5 still grouped at the bottom there, and they might lose mid turret to Tommy Peppers here. He's going to be able to satchel charge that, so they trade 1 for 2 here.
And it looks like it'll probably be 2 for 2 because you got Nonstop Brain taking Shelly up top.
Yeah, they dropped it there, and Rinks is in the area as well. Shelly arriving a little late. Still will be able to pick that up, and Snugglebutt almost getting bursted down there as we see the root come across from Fluff get smashed. Unfortunately, the ultimate not in time to complete the lockdown. The bullet time doing a lot of damage, but they didn't get the full duration, and Snugglebutt going to be able to get out. Shelly going to get a second charge off in that top lane. So that top inner turret looking a little shaky right now, and both teams dead even in kills, dead even in turrets, and almost completely dead even in gold as well. A much, much closer game 2 here between the two teams.
Yeah. I definitely like the play from HypE a lot more than the play from Pendulum. Because, I mean, yeah, both teams were able to get 2 turrets, but HypE was able to split it between both mid and top lane. So that gives them more pressure on that side of the map to where, as PLG, they just have it all in the bot lane. So it's just like, once that wave gets stopped, I mean, I feel like you're putting too many eggs in a basket there. Just relying on just getting the 2 turrets in the 1 lane instead of trying to split it out across the map like HypE was able to do.
For sure, and now it looks like they're going to try and repeat the same thing in the top lane. They've sent 4 up there, and here comes the Nature's Grasp under the turret, and they're tanking the turret for now. Ring's still very healthy here. They haven't quite got the damage down, and we see the Glacial Fissure coming out, but it's not going to be enough, and suddenly Nerf Irrelevant, Killer Unicorns both extremely low. Snugglebutt gonna go in and look for the kill. Can he get it? Yes, he can. Just barely manages to pop Rinks, but at what cost? Because they are going to give up the Drake here to the side of HypE Esports. Now Kimberly Grace running for the hills, using the heal for the movement speed buff there, will be able to get out away from Yasuo only. So they end up trading the top lane outer turret and Rinks' life for that Cloud Drake, and now HypE Esports has 2 Drakes for themselves, both offensively oriented, Cloud and Infernal.
Yeah, that was a lot to unpack there. I will definitely say this for Rinks. That was very impressive with how much damage he put out while tanking 4 people.
And that's why Maokai has always been such a high value pick here in the Coalition League. Very durable, and just the amount of turret damage that was being put out there too was amazing. They tried to juggle it on the side of Pendulum, but the damage increase on that turret does not reset even when it changes target. So doing a lot of work there as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I like how Pendulum's actually been playing it. Sure, they aren't getting as big leads as you might want to see, but they are the ones beginning to be proactive here, calling for those 4-5-man dives here, getting the turrets down like they did in the first game. They might be giving up objectives right now, but they are still the ones in the driver's seat at this point in time.
That's true, but I do feel like there is one crucial flaw that they're making. They're not entering Ziggs at all. They're letting him free farm. He's already got Eluding Deca completed. He's at 154 farm. And like he's just splitting bot solo right now. So he's getting solo experience, solo gold. And again, with his satchel, that's just free turrets that he can potentially get.
Yeah, definitely getting a bit of a lead for himself. A small lead right now in terms of gold, but as you said, that's probably more beneficial for the Ziggs there. Yasuo only so far unable to find very much success here with the Aurelion. So 0-0-0 thus far, has not managed to get into any of these fights that have been breaking out. And now we do see Snugglebutt getting caught a little bit by the root, but the Glacial Fissure coming back across. We'll see Fluff get smashed extremely low on health. The stun comes out on Kimberly Gracie, the exhaust as well. She's going to run for the hills, but it will not be enough. She will go down as heal from Snugglebutt, will enable him to pick up the double kill here, and the bot lane of HypE goes down to the bot lane of Pendulum Gaming.
That was very clean from Pendulum. That was a very good Glacial Fissure.
And then we see the bomb coming out with the Glacial Prison to follow up. Timic gonna have to be forced to flash to safety. And Snugglebutt and Irrelevant are so low. They have to be careful. Will be able to disengage with all that mobility that they both have there. And that means the mid lane turret will remain safe.
Yeah, and see, that's exactly what I was talking about the Ziggs. I mean, right now he has boots and one item. And he put all of them an inch away from death.
Yeah, and that's a Braum as well. Braum not that squishy. Granted, at this point, he only really has the Knight's Vow and the Null Magic Mantle, but his base stats do give him quite a bit of health as well. And as the game goes on, that's only going to get worse for Snugglebutt because he most likely won't be building any magic resistance or tank items. He's already built the Mana Immune for himself that's got it stacking, looking for that Trinity Force, but does not have it complete yet. On the other side, Kimberly Grace has the Essence Reaver completed, so she'll be able to put out, I think, at this point, a bit more damage in the team fights if she can get her bullet time on.
And we might see one here soon, potentially, depending on if Sejuani can get over there, and her ult should be up soon, so Nonstop Brain might have a good chance to set something up very clean for his team here in, I'd say, like 10 seconds or so.
Yeah, it's almost available here, and it would be definitely in time for this next Drake coming up. It's going to be a Mountain Drake here, and if the side of Hype Gaming can get the Mountain Drake, it will benefit them a lot, especially on that Maokai, Sejuani, the two tanks that they have here for their team. And the other thing to note is Game 1, HypE Esports has this great composition like they do right now. And around this time is where it starts to all fall apart for the side of HypE Esports here. This is where they start struggling to make, to find objectives, to be the proactive team. So I'm looking forward to seeing if they can be the ones to pull the trigger here in the mid game when they have all this team fighting strength for themselves. Drake has spawned right now, and it looks like HypE Esports going to be the ones to start it up here. But Pendulum will be looking for the True Shot Barrage coming down, but it's going to be Nature's Grasp to disengage, and that will force the entire enemy team to back off. They are going to get rooted up here on Yasuo only, and that's going to be Mountain Drake going over. Killer Unicorns walking up, but he's not as tanky or as fed as he was Game 1. The Glacial Prison will catch Timic, but that's about it. The bullet time getting interrupted immediately by a beautiful flag and drag from Timic, and we're going to see Fluff get smashed, get wiped out on the side. Killer Unicorns diving into the backline here, looking to see if we can pick anybody up. But Timic and Nerf Irrelevant gonna get slaughtered by the damage there from Kimberly Grace as well as Rinks. And Rinks is deep in the backline. Kimberly Grace running for the hills, will not be able to get out as the stars from Aurelion Sol will beckon her onwards to death. And we do see Snugglebutt finally going down there. The bombs from Tommy Peppers disengaging, stopping them from following up. Chaotic fight there. It's going to be a 3-4-4, but the side of HypE does manage to pick up their third Drake before the fight started, and that means they're at soul point.
Yeah, I definitely feel like HypE comes out on top with that, since they were able to get that dragon. I mean, Pendulum, they have free reign to potentially get this turret. No, they don't have a wave, so...
Yeah, without the minions there and Yasuo only, the Asol doesn't have a ton of auto attack damage either, will not be able to take that turret down. And that stubborn outer turret for the mid lane here, the last outer turret standing for HypE Esports. And it's putting quite a crimp here in the plans of Pendulum Gaming. It's cutting the map in half, and Yasuo only not able to find the roams that he might otherwise find if he had a bit more space on the map.
Right. And just something to point out is, like, that fight happened with Ziggs still only having the one item and still being able to put out that much damage. Now he's almost at 2 completed items. So if they get another fight like that, I'm almost positive that Tommy Peppers is definitely going to be able to clean up pretty well.
For sure, and on the other side of the rift, Yasuo only managing to pick up his second completed item, the Rylai's Crystal Scepter, which is one of the core items for an Aurelion Sol. So he's going to be extremely sticky here. Going to be very difficult for the side of HypE to disengage. The next fights will most likely be all-ins for them. Either they win it or they all die.
definitely going to be interesting to see who pulls the trigger for the next fight.
Yeah, they're going to continue the mid lane siege, it looks like, splitting 4-1 for both teams, sending their top laners to continue that top lane, but there is no inner turret left, so Killer Unicorn's going to have to overextend himself significantly here to try and get anything in that top lane, but it looks like he's just content to draw Rinks out for now, while the rest of his team siege up the mid lane, but that's into a Zyra, into a Ziggs, into a Misfortune. It's going to be very difficult to get damage down before the wave gets cleared out.
Right. And at some point, it looks like Tommy Peppers, he did back so he could finish his Lich Bane, which that's gonna be nasty if he's able to get in some autos in his rotation.
For sure, we see Killer Unicorns now rejoining his team on the flank, but couldn't find anything. Will get out, and they're going to be able to get that turret. Nerf Irrelevant taking a ton of damage, though, almost going down. There has to be careful. Eats another bomb to the face, and now he has to watch out for the Ziggs ultimate, because that would end him if they can land it. Instead, it looks like they're going to be able to back off, and Tommy Pepper's not wanting to waste his ultimate here quite just yet. Instead, they're going to push up the mid lane, potentially answer that mid lane turret with a mid lane turret of their own. We'll have to see. They do have a lot of siege potential with the bombs, with the Zyra poke, with the Misfortune poke. And we can already see it going on to Yasuo only there. And that turret getting absolutely melted. The satchel charge is good. And it's going to be Snugglebutts getting caught up there by the root. The twisted advance into the Zyra ultimate there. And now Timic into the backline, but he might go down. A beautiful shield from Nerf Irrelevant will stop a lot of the bullet time damage. And I must say, Pendulum Gaming on point dealing with this Misfortune. Nerf Irrelevant. Game 1, the Bard and Tempered Fate. Game 2, the Braum shield is being the bane of Kimberly Grace's existence right now.
Yeah, that's very true. But unlike in Game 1, now since they don't have that Tempered Fate, they're also not able to help peel off of the turrets as much either, though. Because, like, you know, as you saw with the Ziggs, he just tossed a satchel on her, and it's like, all right, that's free objective for us.
Yeah, definitely something they'll have to keep in mind. If they don't have the entire team there, we literally just saw what happened when they sieged. The damage coming out of Ziggs with that Lich Bane, like I mentioned, just shreds turrets. And now the fourth Drake of the game being spawned here, Mountain Drake, could potentially be the Soul Drake. And we see Killer Unicorns using the Death Realm proactively here onto Nonstop Brain. The flash coming out Nonstop, but will it be enough? He is finally out of the Death Realm, but he will go down as the rest of his team was zoned out there. So this fight is going to start 5v4 if they try and contest this Drake. Now Rinks, the target here. Snugglebutts going on to him. He has the Mana Mune, the Mirror Mana completed as well. The Triforce Bullet Time coming across. They get almost the full channel. Snugglebut almost goes down, but a beautiful drag and drag across from Timic will see both the bot laners for the side of HypE Esports go down, and Rinks finally gets taken down. That's going to be a 1-for-4 in favor of Pendulum Gaming. Can Tommy get himself another steal here? No, he cannot. They don't have vision. He's trying desperately, though, and it's going to be Mountain Drake for the side of Pendulum.
Yeah, it was very clean by Pendulum. I mean, the thing that I liked the most about that entire fight was the proactive Death Realm from Killer Unicorns to take Nonstop Brain out of the fight completely. Like, he killed Nonstop Brain. They don't have their jungler. It's going to be extremely hard for them to contest this. And then it just led into getting 3 other kills on top of that.
Yeah, that Glacial Prison, really, really strong teamfight AoE spell, but used on a single target without the rest of the team to back him up. It's of limited effectiveness here, and suddenly Pendulum looking really strong here, and this was what happened game 1 too. They were struggling a little bit early, but once they really started finding their pace here, they could break HypE Esports apart. So really, it's up to HypE Esports to sort of counteract this and get themselves back into the game here. And we've already seen them struggle in the last couple of team fights to get that bullet time off for maximum effectiveness. They did finally get the full channel off, but they didn't get it on the priority target. Snugglebutt, with his mobility on that Israel, able to get out of it. What do you think HypE Esports needs to do at this point to really get themselves back in here into the driver's seat again?
Stop getting picked. The entire reason that fight went the way it did was because Nonstop Brain got picked out.
Unfortunately, it looks like it won't be the answer here right away as Fluff gets smashed. Gets picked here. The Cataclysm coming down to delay the rest of the team, but somehow Fluff manages to pick up Snugglebutt on the back of the fight. Tommy Peppers assisting here, gets the double kill, picks Timic and Nerf Irrelevant out, and rather than not get picked, it looks more like pick them harder as we see Fluff get smashed, sacrificing their life as bait here for the team. Killer Unicorns now in the bot lane, looking to try and pick Kimberly Grace up. Just going to dive this turret. Is going to take some turret shots, but does get the flash out of Kimberly in the bot lane. Now only Yasuo only left up there to try and stop the Baron take, but looks like he won't. He's just going to go back to base, and this Baron is most likely going to go HypE's way. Yasuo only still on the side. Doesn't have any burst though. I'm not sure where he's going right now.
Yeah, I don't get why Yasuo only is just kind of chilling there. I mean, yeah, grabbing these Raptors is kind of nice, I suppose, but I mean, like, he could have been pushing a lane. Like, there's more options that he had than just, like, I'm just going to sit here and look pretty.
Yeah, though, must admit, that skin is very pretty.
True, especially with that chroma. Clean.
For sure, and despite losing the Baron, it's going to be Pendulum who are pushing right now up the mid lane here. They're going for that inner turret, and on the side of HypE, they have to respond. They don't have the minion wave, so they don't have the Baron buff at full effectiveness here. Finally walking it up will be able to push Pendulum back for a little bit, and it's a 3-1 split right now. Nonstop Brain back at base, hitting out right now to rejoin his team. And it's starting to look a little reminiscent of the MG Blaze sort of 4-1 split we saw a lot of last split on this composition from HypE Esports here.
That is very true. And, I mean, even then, like, if they wanted to, instead of having Maokai being the one to do the split, they could have Maokai with the team just to have the two tanks in the 4, and then have Tommy Peppers take Ziggs into a side lane, just because Ziggs has outstanding clear, he has great siege. Like, Ziggs is like one of the premier split pushers, I feel like.
And there was a good attempt off the Glacial Prison from Nonstop Brain there. Unfortunately, doesn't catch anybody out. Snugglebutt able to arcane shift himself to safety here, and they're gonna try and siege this up in the mid lane. They do have the Baron buff with them. We'll have the siege minions coming in. Instead, they're gonna peel up and go once again for that Mountain Soul. They really want to make sure they get the resistance there. They want to make Nonstop Brain and Rings that much tankier. And on the side of Pendulum, they're aware of it. We saw Timic looking out in the area, but they are not together yet. They're gonna run their way there now. Dragon's got about 15 seconds, so they will be able to arrive before it spawns.
Okay, so what I don't like about... Wait a minute, hold on.
That bot outer turret finally went down. Somehow it survived this long. Kimberly Grace going to be the one to pick it up for her team here. And looks like the fight might break out. Both teams are getting on edge. The Glacial Prison should be coming off cooldown shortly here. So on the side of Pendulum Gaming, they got a very small window here to try and do something. The poke coming up from Snugglebutt and Tommy Peppers as well, with both teams trying to whittle each other down. Neither side has heals this time, so any poke they take here will stick, and the Glacial Prison is now back up. True Shot Barrage comes out, only lands on the unfortunate Mountain Drake, and Timic gonna get caught on the side. Glacial Prison only being used on one, but it will not be a kill as he manages to somehow survive. Full time coming out. The shield this time not gonna save Nerf Irrelevant as he has to take the damage continuously, and HypE gonna win that with a 1-for-0 and pick up the Mountain Soul as their prize here.
Yeah, and that right there, that just goes to show how nice of a comp they have, because they got almost the perfect combo. They had the Zyra ult with the Ziggs ult into a bullet time. Like, that is the most damage that they're going to be able to put out in a very fast amount of time in a team fight.
Yeah, definitely, and that bodes well for them, but they do have to be careful because as it drags out, their damage might begin to fall off. And if this game does keep dragging out, Luna. Which team do you think has the better late game composition here?
Honestly, I just feel like it's still HypE. Just because I feel like HypE has better wave clear with the Ziggs, MF, and Zyra options. And they have more ways of being able to peel. They have Zyra, Roots, and knock up if need be. They have the satchel from Ziggs. They have the slow from MF. The ult from Maokai. And I mean, Sejuani's ult, while it's normally used for engage, it is a good disengage option as well.
For sure, and I guess that means Pendulum has to be the ones to step up to the plate here. Have to really start trying to end this game. And again, they're up in kills, down in gold. We saw the opposite in game 1 here, where HypE was up in kills, down in gold. So very counterintuitive series we have going here. And they're once more sieging up the mid lane turret. They failed to crack it on the side of HypE Esports with the Baron buff, but they're going to try again without the Baron buff this time. And it's full 5v5. And at this point in the game, 35 minutes. If either team gets aced, that could mean the end of the game here, because the respawn timer is at this point pretty long. We do see Killer Unicorns getting caught up, but the Death Realm going to dissuade them, and Ring's going to go 1v4 to keep the entire enemy team of Pendulum off the back of his team. Glacial Prison comes out. Bullet time is overkill as they pick Timic out here, and now Killer Unicorns in that backline finally takes Fluff, gets smashed after hunting him down through the jungle for an eternity. Ring's going to go down as well, and they're going to trade top laners here, and it's going to be a 2-4-2, very, very even trade. And now the mid ADC and supports for the side of Pendulum going to chase down the enemy side. Nonstop Brain has the Warmog's armor, and he's going to start having it tick up soon enough if they don't keep the damage on. But Nerf Irrelevant oversteps just a little bit, ends up getting burst down, and now Pendulum starts having to back out once again. Very, very back and forth. They just install a bit longer though, because Timic will be up in about 5 seconds. Still has the Cataclysm available. Got burst down before he could even ultimate there. So if he does respawn, we'll be able to engage that backline, keep them in place for Snugglebutt and Yasuo.
Yeah, and for Pendulum, that stall helped them out a lot, because right now the lanes in top and bot for Pendulum are slow pushing. So here soon, HypE will have to deal with those side lanes.
Yeah, and the Baron is also available right now, so they could potentially just blitz Baron and let the waves push for them. But it looks like they will not be able to do so quite yet. We do see Fluff get smashed, getting some wards, some vision down around the Baron area. They don't want to lose this. Besides that, the Elder will be up in about 2.5 minutes here. So they are staggered right now. You can't trade one objective for the other. So we can expect to see a big fight coming up around Baron sometime in the next couple of minutes here.
So right now, I'm curious as to see who looks to try to secure this Baron, and who just tries to, like, I'm curious to see where the next fight's going to break out. Is it going to break out in Baron Pit, or is it going to break out in a lane somewhere by someone getting caught, or just both teams going headfirst into each other?
If the last couple of fights have been anything to go by, we'll most likely see two teams just crashing head on into each other here. And it's a matter of who can press R harder. Right now, it does look like the side of HypE should have the advantage in these fights, but Pendulum somehow still edging out in terms of kills thus far here. And we do see Killer Unicorns going to keep pushing out that bot lane. Does have teleport available. They're going to send Rings to match him there in the bot lane, so both will have the teleport to rejoin their teams here.
Yeah, the question is who's going to pull the trigger? Is it going to be Timic getting a good Cataclysm, or is it going to be Nonstop Brain hitting a clutch Glacial Prison?
So far, it looks like it's Tommy Peppers doing work with the poke there, able to poke Irrelevant out. Irrelevant does have some good regen though, so the damage will not stick too long. It looks like it's slowly healing back up, and both teams just pushing up. And now the waves are pushing backwards in favor of HypE Esports now.
Yeah, so soon Pendulum will have to deal with those. And when that happens, I do feel like HypE has more than enough bursts to be able to take down Baron rather quickly.
For sure. It looks like actually both teams have completely just backed out the Baron here, and it might be Elder on the table instead. It will be coming up in about 10 seconds here, and it looks like the side of HypE, they want to prioritize this Elder.
I like this call. I like this call a lot. Just because they already have enough burst, and in the past few fights, for example, we would see Kimberly or Tommy Peppers just toss out a ton of burst, and PLG would get out just by the skin of their teeth.
And now the ultimate's being used here. Nature's Grasp as well as the Zyra ultimate just to zone out the enemy team, but it will be just barely enough. Pendulum has arrived, but the Elder has already been taken. Now Tommy Pepper's getting burst out the back end as he tried to disengage. Killer Unicorns using the Death Realm onto Non-Stop Brain. Unable to find him though. But Timic will, the Cataclysm, ending the lives there of Non-Stop Brain. And Fluff gets smashed. And Pendulum just smashing this right now. Despite losing the Elder Drake, only Rinks left alive. Can he get the execute? Yes, he can. That's a double kill now as he picks up Yasuo only there. The execute doing a lot of work. Now Timic and Killer Unicorns running down towards the base there, but they do have to be careful. The percent health from Rinks could mean they die if they're not, if they overstep just a little bit. And Rinks taking the long way round back to his base, looking to see if he can pick anyone else up or just hold that turret. And it looks like he might be thinking about going for Timic. No, he's going to Twisted Advance onto Killer Unicorns instead. The damage is being applied. The shield here from Killer Unicorns to keep himself a bit healthy. But the Flash Twisted Advance there. Is he at the threshold yet? He's so low. Yes, he is. That's going to be a killing spree as Rinks picks up his third of that fight. And Timic running for the hills there.
Man, it's got to feel bad when you have to run away from a tree. Like, it's one thing when you see a fed Maokai and you're just like, okay, it's almost impossible to kill him at this point. Sure, whatever. When you have to worry about that and the tree just running you down to try to kill you because of Elder buff, that is terrifying to think about.
And Rinks knows no fear. He's going 1v4 right now. Just running into the enemy team, chasing after Snugglebutt and Irrelevant here. Has to be careful though. Yasuo only is waiting at the side there. The Ziggs bomb coming out. Will it be enough? Yes, it will. He picks up Irrelevant. He's really, really low though. Will not be able to continue his killing spree. But that buys his team enough time to pick the Baron up for themselves. And with that, there is no Elder Drake left alive at all on the side of HypE Esports. Instead, there's Baron on 4 members.
Yeah, and that's a very good call by Rinks to just be like, hey, I'm just going to hold you guys over here and let my team get another massive buff. So far, since Baron and Elder have been available, HypE has gotten all 3 of them.
Yeah, HypE only ever losing the one objective there, that one Mountain Drake earlier in the game. Besides that, they've been zoned in on these objectives, making sure they contest everyone, trying to take every single one here. Now they're back to the mid lane once more, trying to take this inhibitor turret that has frustrated them for so long, but they're pushing 4v5, and they will back themselves off, waiting for Rinks to respawn here.
Yeah, I kind of like the safety call here. Just because Rinks has definitely held his own and being able to apply a lot of pressure for his team. Free turret.
Yep, Tommy Pepper's just going in there, tossing the satchel shard, but he has to be careful. We'll have to run out. The Glacial Fissure will find Fluff, gets smashed, and Fluff lives up to his name and gets smashed there as the Cataclysm comes down as well. And now they're fighting a disengage 3v5. The Glacial Prison comes out, and Rinks has arrived with the teleport. The man does not have an Elder Drake buff this time though, but it will be enough. The Nature's Grasp gonna finish off Timic there. They pick up Nerf Irrelevant, and that's 2 tanks down. Only the damage dealers left alive for the side of Pendulum Gaming. Now they've turned the tides. It's a 4v3. They don't have minions though. The minions have arrived. The cavalry is here, and they will look for this top lane inhibitor turret instead. Death Realm now onto Non-Stop Brain. Will pull him out. The turret's gonna go down, and I'm not sure he has enough damage to take the Sejuani out now, because he now has the Randuin's Omen, the Gargoyle Stoneplate as well. Will die outside the Death Realm, and now Killer Unicorns in the middle of 3 will get bursted down, and that's going to be a 60-second timer there. Death Timer onto Killer Unicorns. Yasuo only and Snuggle, but our Optimic will be rejoining them in about 10 seconds. I'm not sure they can end this here, but they do find Yasuo only. He'll have to use the stopwatch to keep himself alive, but will it be enough? No, it will not. Rinks going 9, 6, and 9 as he picks Yasuo only up as well. They get one of the Nexus turrets, but they will have to disengage, running for safety right now. And Kimberly Grace a little caught out. We see the speed boost coming out. Shirelli is used by Irrelevant, and they will have to stop the chase here. They managed to save their base, but they've got a gaping hole on the top side here. Inhibitor down, Nexus turret down as well, and Elder Drake will be coming out in just over a minute.
Yeah, and right now we see Fluff get smashed. They're setting up Vision on the bot side, on top of the fact that for HypE, the lane's pushed up to PLG's last remaining tier 2 turret. So that's an option they can look at as well.
Yeah, it is not the healthiest of turrets, just under half health here. And with the Ziggs Satchel Charge, a Lich Bane proc and a Satchel Charge might be enough to take that turret down. And they are, both teams, looking for that Elder Drake right now. Killer Unicorn still has teleport, so he can afford to deal with the super minions in the top lane and teleport to his team. But teleport does have a buffer time, so he has to be careful that his team doesn't get killed before he arrives. Now Rinks aggressively going in, twisted advances onto Nerf Irrelevant, using Nature's Grasp, but he gets pulled by Killer Unicorns into the Death Realm. Will not be able to assist in the rest of the team fight. Instead, it's Nerf Irrelevant getting bursted down immediately in the fight there. He's not tanky enough, and now Killer Unicorn sat in the middle of 5 will go down. Timic arriving as well, but bullet time coming across. No Braum to save them. This time means that they will have to eat the bulk of it there. Yasuo only taken down to less than half health, but that's enough to dissuade PLG from further tampering. They've got 2 dead in that fight. That's a 2 for 0. And HypE should be able to pick themselves up the Elder, and this late in the game, they should be able to finish the game out as well.
Ideally, yes. And I mean, especially like, look at the items. Oh, and Winyan's got a free turret in base for HypE.
Go, my brothers! While Killer Unicorns was distracted, nobody was in the base to stop those super minions from pushing in the top wave. And like I said, it's a gaping hole, and those minions took advantage of it. They've now got an open Nexus, and they've got an Elder Drake buff. If they can't win with this, I think HypE's got problems.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. But I mean, looking at the itemization, Ziggs he just hit full build. He just finished off his last item being a Void Staff before the previous Elder fight. He finished off his Death Cap. And he's 5-1 and 11 right now. Like, for
sure. And you know, one thing that we said before is a lot of these games are very top-centric games, and even though we didn't see Rinks go nuts like we did Killer Unicorns on the Cho'Gath, I would still say though he is the most valuable member of the team. Glacial Prison does land onto Snugglebutt, and that will allow the Twisted advance as well. And Snugglebutt getting bursted down immediately there. Bullet time coming across will pick up Nerf Irrelevant as well. And with the execute, Killer Unicorns not long for this world. Can he get out? Yes, just barely. The shield gonna keep him alive, and now Yasuo only has to be careful he doesn't go down here. And it won't be enough. He will. That's the open Nexus. They finally get that mid lane inhibitor that they've been sieging for days. And that's game to HypE Esports in an amazing bounce back. I think this might be the longest game we've seen thus far. 48-25 the time on this one. What a game.
Yeah, that was definitely a very, very dragged out game. A lot of back and forth. Well played by both teams. At this point, I couldn't tell you who's going to win Game 3. Like, right now, both teams are showing very outstanding displays of power.
And this is the way we love to see our games. Real close games here real close series, pardon me, for both teams. And this game 2, with it being so close, I expect Game 3 to be great as well. And, you know, we talked about how HypE needed to ban the Cho'Gath against Pendulum. Now I'm wondering if Pendulum needs to ban the Maokai against Rinks.
That would definitely be I would definitely recommend it, just because, like you stated earlier, we've seen Rinks do outstanding work on Maokai from the previous split. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see who. It's going to be crucial to see who makes what bands.
Yeah, for sure. And with that, we are going to take a quick break here while we set up for game 3. And so stick around for what's proving to be an exciting series here between HypE and Pendulum Gaming.